We are an African people.
The streets of Harlem, New York were alive with the sounds of protest as a coalition of left-wing groups gathered there to demonstrate against U.S. foreign policy, specifically to express outrage about the U.S.-led bombing campaign in Libya and economic sanctions against Zimbabwe.
We know that it has never been in our interest for someone outside of our community to come in and solve our problem. Can I get a witness on that? What we're saying is, if it's an African problem, then it needs to be an African solution.
The event, called the Millions in Harlem March, was organized by the Nation of Islam. Its controversial leader, Louis Farrakhan, has publicly supported Libya's Muammar Gaddafi and Zimbabwe's Robert Mugabe, despite the questionable human rights records of both leaders.
Martin Luther King took a position against the war in Vietnam here in Harlem, energized that movement. Today, Minister Farrakhan comes back to Harlem to energize that movement once again.
Protesters say NATO and United Nations actions in Africa are illegal and are indicative of the West's disrespect for black people abroad and right here in the United States.
This country don't care about black people dying in Africa. They don't care about black people dying in America. That's not why they're there. They're there for oil.
An underlying theme of this event was the revitalization of Pan-Africanism, a movement that seeks to unify African people into one African community. Besides the bombings and the sanctions, organizers had a number of issues that they railed about in this rally. Police brutality, rapid unemployment in the black community, housing foreclosures, gentrification, the destruction of public education, and the proliferation of the prison industry, with what they described as a racist justice system that is tilted against people of color. The annual event, which stemmed from the historic Million Man March in Washington, D.C. back in 1995, has dwindled in size in recent years, but many here see U.S. foreign policy in Africa and its domestic policies toward urban communities as lightning rods to rally the community in greater numbers politically. In New York, Gary Anthony Ramsey, Our News Now.